Hello everybody, how's it going? On today's video I'm going to show a couple box sets that I'm actually surprised I haven't shown yet on this channel. It's probably because they're a little bit older, but as you can see from the sign here, we got some Beatles on Capitol Records box sets to show. The first one is going to be the Beatles, the Capitol Albums Volume 1. And just some information before we get into the box here. This is released on November 15th of 2004. This is their 1964 albums are on this box set. They're Capitol recordings, and these all used the original Capitol masters, the ones done by Dave Dexter. They contain some of the reverb that was added and the simulated stereo and things like that are unique to the U.S. Capitol albums. This box set debuted at number 35 on the Billboard Top 200, and it stayed on the chart for 6 weeks. And each CD in this 4 CD set contains both the stereo and the mono mixes. So here you can see the 4 albums that are on here, all their contents. And I've seen 2 versions of these box sets that I'm going to show. One is this long box, where you just slide gotta be careful, you slide the contents out the side here. And I say you gotta be careful because it's open on the ends. If you pull it open, all the CDs will fall out the end. I've also seen this folds in half. I've also seen where they're sold like this, and it's just a slipcase over this part. It's just got the small brick version of it. But I have the long box here. So yeah, on one side we got the 4 CDs, and then on the other side we have the little booklet that comes along with it. This has got some interesting pictures and liner notes by Bruce Spicer. A lot of people, they criticized the U.S. Beatles albums because they were kind of what they call they're butchered, from the original Beatles idea of how their albums should be. But I don't know, they're kind of interesting. I'm not old enough to have grown up with the U.S. albums, so I grew up with the British reissues that were done on CD in the late 80s, so I'm not familiar with these that much, so I like them both. So yeah, the first CD in here, they're on these LP replicas. We got Meet the Beatles here, and they all got the replica of the Rainbow Capitol logo in there. And the next one is their second album. And then Capitol didn't have the rights to release the Hard Day's Night album, so they kind of came up with their own variation with something new. Contains a few tracks from the Hard Day's Night film. It's got a couple German language tracks on there. And then the last one in this set is Beatles 65. So yeah, that was the volume 1. This came out in 2004, so then you see in 2004 it's called Volume 1, so you figure, well, there must be, if there's a Volume 1, there's got to be a Volume 2 coming. Well, 2 years later, in April 11th of 2006, they came out with the Capitol Albums Volume 2. So this contains their 1965 Capitol records. This one debuted on the Billboard Top 200 at number 46. Not quite as good as the first one for some reason, and there's actually some early early copies of this box set that contained the incorrect mono mixes on some of the songs, and I checked my box set just today, and I do have one of those early sets that contains the incorrect mono songs on. I believe it's Beatles 6 and Rubber Soul both contain the incorrect, or kind of the stereo fold downs into mono, so not the correct versions. And one thing that they changed on the volume 2 is that if you pull this out, the CDs don't fall at the bottom. Well, they've redesigned the box on this one so they open, everything comes out from the center, so a little bit of an improvement there. And so on one side we got the CDs, and then on the other side we got the book. Just give you a quick look through what's in the book on this one. Again, like I said on the first one, I'm pretty sure that Bruce Spicer is the one who did the liner notes for all these books. He's a pretty good authority on Beatles history, so. If nothing else, there's lots of cool pictures in here. Pictures from Help there. There's Shea Stadium. Some other singles there. Oh, sure enough, there it is, Bruce Spicer. It's hard to show these little books on camera. There's not really a good way to hold these. And there's the albums and the contents. Okay, so the first one in this set, we have the early Beatles. If I remember right, this album is stuff that was originally released on VJ Records, and then Capitol took over, and they were able to release all these songs again on their label. I don't claim to know everything about the Beatles, so I could be mistaken there, but I think that's the way it went. Next is Beatles 6. And then we have Help. The original LP of this was a gatefold that had some extra pictures inside, but this one's just a single sleeve here without any gatefold on it, so a little too bad there. And then the last one in this set is Rubber Soul. And like I was mentioning earlier with the incorrect mono mixes on these sets, these early sets, the easiest way to tell here is put in your copy of Rubber Soul, and if let's see, if I'm looking through you, in both stereo and mono have the same false starts at the beginning of the song, then you have the incorrect versions of the mono mixes here. Only the mono, I believe, well, anyway, only one of the songs should have the false start at the beginning. So if they both have that false start, then you probably got the bad set. So there was Volume 1 and Volume 2, and then I guess that was it. They decided not to go ahead with the Volume 3. There was no more of these box sets released up until we got the complete US albums box set, which contained all of the US albums all the way through Hey Jude, and we even got the Beatles story and Hard Day's Night soundtrack, all sorts of good stuff in this one. But if I remember right here, they didn't actually use the original Capitol mixes. They used the 2009 stereo mixes. So I don't know, you're kind of getting a little bit of everything with these, so I guess you need to be a completist and just buy everything. Then that way you know you got everything. So Anyway, thanks for watching the video, guys, and I'll catch you again on the next one. Take care.